So AOC is in the news again, doing another one of her boilerplate interviews, and unfortunately, she's not. I wouldn't say she's not an intellectual heavyweight by any means. So she can't she can't. I think she went on Yahoo News or something. Very vanilla. She's not going to interview with anybody that's going to push back on her ideas, because all of it is just poetry. All of it is just what economically illiterate people want to hear. But I don't even know. She was just saying something about capitalism, and capitalism is not a redeemable system for us. At the same time, if somebody was to press her, like, could you define capitalism? Can you define socialism? The way I think millennials or like younger Gen Z or whatever use these words, capitalism, socialism, is not the textbook definition. Because these people are going to be using laptops, sipping on Starbucks Frappuccinos, driving like Cadillacs or whatever. They don't mean the Soviet Union, although some of the extreme do. They probably mean more like a Scandinavian, California, managed, like maybe fascistic managed capitalism. Because when she was saying, I listened, I suffered a little bit and tried to watch a little bit of her interview, and she was saying, well, we don't like capitalism because capitalism, to me, it's the pursuit of profit. That completely pursuit of maximum profit that completely disregards in the environment, the workers, and whatever. It's like, well, no shit, Sherlock. Like, nobody's for that type of capitalism. Everybody wants to deal with businesses that produce great products and treat their customers well, treat their workers well, and innovate and stuff like that. The type of quote-unquote greedy corporations don't even last long, because they treat their customers like shit. But more to the point, it's like she would never offer an alternative. Never, like, okay, and that's why she's just criticizing capitalism, but then it's like, I would love it if she had something you can opt into. Because all of her, any kind of like socialism ideas, they're just expanding the role of government and expanding the raising taxes. It's like, let people opt into this. You have a great idea, just make it optional. See how many people join you. And if people want to join you, or you have like a state like California or whatever, some small state, do an experiment there. Do your free healthcare there. Do your 90% tax rate there. And see how many people voluntarily want to do it. Here, U.S. Rep. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says capitalism does not benefit most Americans and is not a redeemable system, even though Americans are the richest people on earth. The New York Democrat Socialist said the economy only benefits the wealthy few, like the Koch brothers. Here we go, the capitalist boogeyman. It's like, what do you mean? This is so childish. There's like, Americans are the richest people on earth. It doesn't benefit them. Like, they don't buy anything. They don't go to the store and get like super cheap prices. They don't have a job where they can easily afford electricity and food. Nobody's starving to death. Ocasio-Cortez went on to advocate for regular workers to be on the governing boards of companies to give more power to the people. Well, why did these workers just start their own company if they're so good at managing it? Put your money where your mouth is. The New York Democratic Socialists slammed the U.S. economy during an interview with Yahoo Finance's Andy Sewer on Tuesday. I bet Andy Stewart's a fucking pushover. That's why she did an interview with him. And no matter her rhetoric, the days of socialism and big government are over. It's just gone for two reasons. One reason is immigration. America is becoming way too diverse, and the more diverse a place, this is not a value judgment, right or wrong. Well, people are just only generous with socialism and welfare for their own people. And if they feel like the nation is super diverse, well, they don't want to give free stuff to like the new immigrants. Judge however you want about the human character. They've done studies like this in Scandinavia, and the more diverse, the less generous to welfare. On top of that, the left's culture war, calling everybody racist and you're racist, white supremacist, and this and that's like, if you wanted welfare, if you want to expand the government and entitlements, this is completely 180. You should be completely messaging the opposite, saying, we love America, we love the working class, we love people in red states, you guys are so great, we should all pool our money together and we can get some health care for everybody and this and that. You know, that's the type of message you should have had, but they can't help themselves. This is just like for the left, race baiting is like smoking crack rock. They love it, can't put the fucking pipe down, and they can kiss their socialism and welfare goodbye. And the second major reason is technology, remote work. Nobody is, unless you do something on the federal level, which is going to be difficult. Even lefty states like California and New York, I see them as people are going to start leaving in droves, cutting taxes. I'm sorry. They can't control RSC. That's the thing. There's nothing that she says is like, she's probably regurgitating the shit that Richard Wolff says. They can control our labor. They can control massive markets that they dictate and capture governments. Yeah, but under socialism or big government, you're still going to have bureaucrats running shit. Somebody's going to capture the system. Name me a country where the system, there aren't like some oligarchs in charge. No matter how democratic or dictatorship, monarchy, it doesn't matter. They can essentially have power over the many. Yeah, that's how it works. And to me, that's not a redeemable system for us, and to be able to participate for the prosperity and peace of the vast majority of people. What peace? You're advocating for people have businesses, that you're advocating confiscatory tax rates on businesses, disrupting people's lives. I mean, what peace? Here are the boogeymen, the Koch brothers. Capitalism was flawed at its core. To me, capitalism at its core, what we're talking about and what we talk about that is the absolute pursuit of profit at all human, environmental, social costs. But that's just even mentioning that, as opposed to, yeah, okay, you're not going to have capitalism, you have government running the thing, but you still have the same type of flawed human being that's going to be pursuing power. So instead of prices, you're going to politically decide things? Are you joking? She said that under the economic system, nation's power is held by an elite. Oh! Under socialism, there won't be no elite. It will just be the proletariat, the working class. This is so childish. I can't believe somebody like that. I mean, she's good. She's good as in terms of like a good politician, and she talks with confidence. But if you have two brain cells to rub together, this is just so horrendous. If it ultimately comes down to a billionaire or the Koch brothers or the Koch family having control over the vast majority of a large plurality of our oil assets, the United States, it's hard. Oh, yeah. just like Venezuela, nationalize the oil fields. And then in Venezuela, they didn't properly maintain it, so Venezuela is the richest oil country on earth, yet it ran out of oil. Wonderful. The private families having control over means of production. That's essentially the capitalist system we live in. She touted alternatives for companies to do business, including workers in the way they operate, alluding to the idea discussed by fellow progressives. Elizabeth Warren, for example, Elizabeth Warren discussed workers being elected to the governing boards of companies. You could have markets where... Wait a minute, I thought Elizabeth Warren was a capitalist, quote unquote. But the socialist AOC is liking your ideas? You could have markets where business and ways of producing, trading, and selling goods that are really controlled, not just controlled, but giving more power to the workers. Bravo! Just start your own business. Such a good idea. Just start your own business. Lead by example. People get a fair share. What the fuck is a fair share? The salary you negotiated, that's your fair share. Union jobs, unionized workplaces, all these different steps and levels that we're talking about in a more just economy. She wants some influencer show. Then they go into buying and selling stocks. This is obvious. They are huge hypocrites. They're like Louis Vuitton socialists, limousine liberals here. Yeah, if you talk about Pelosi, I mean, she said it's not a mystery why the legislation has not yet passed despite swelling public support and eliminated the majority of Congress trade stocks. An enormous amount. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a majority of members of Congress held or trade individual stocks. Well, duh. How did they become so rich? So the rest of the article talks about insider trading. I mean, I'll put it this way: they should. I've heard economists, some economists argue that insider trading was okay, but you gotta let regular people insider trade. Then it's not so. Insider trading is not so cut and dry, but like screw them. Like why should the politicians be able to inside trade and other people go to jail for it? Overall, AOC, I mean, she's like the Donald Trump of the left, I guess. But it's interesting in the way that basically, I would say, I guess she was going for more of like a Scandinavian socialism. Like, just want to cripple the U.S. economy by unionizing everything, heavily taxing and regulating everything. Which is, I'd say, you know what? I'd love that. Good for you. Just do it, and it's just pick one state or one city where you can do this give it a test run, and if that takes off, that takes off. But I think you're gonna fail.